Welcome to BookTube English. Let's improve our English while exploring the most widely read books in the world. This channel features a variety of genres: self-help, business, health, religion, and spirituality, all organized into separate playlists. What if I told you that getting rich isn't about luck and being happy isn't a random feeling that just happens to you? What if both wealth and happiness are not destinations but skills? Skills that, just like learning to ride a bike or learning a new language, can be studied, practiced, and mastered by anyone. Yes, by you. That is the earth-shattering, paradigm-shifting promise of the book we're diving into today. It's a book that has quietly yet profoundly reshaped the thinking of millions of people around the globe. Today, we are exploring the Almanack of Naval Ravikant, a guide to wealth and happiness. Now, the first thing you need to know is that this book is unique. Naval Ravikant, the man whose wisdom fills these pages, didn't actually sit down and write it in the traditional sense. Naval is a modern-day philosopher, a highly successful entrepreneur, and a prolific investor who has captivated the world with his insights on technology, life, wealth, and happiness. For years, he shared his wisdom through a series of epic tweetstorms, podcasts, and interviews. And for a long time, these golden nuggets of advice were scattered all over the internet. That is, until Eric Jurgensen came along. Eric, a brilliant product strategist and writer himself, took on the monumental task of collecting, curating, and organizing a decade's worth of Naval's most powerful ideas into a single cohesive volume. Think of this book not as an autobiography, but as a beautifully organized symphony of Naval's best thoughts. And it's a symphony that has resonated deeply with people. With over 1 million copies sold since its release in 2020 and an astonishing 20,822 ratings on Amazon, plus over 61,000 ratings on Goodreads, this book is clearly more than just a passing trend. It's a movement. The foreword is written by none other than Tim Ferriss, another giant in the world of self-optimization and business, which immediately signals the caliber of the content you're about to engage with. People who have read it have called it life-changing. Shane Parrish, the founder of the Farnham Street blog, calls Naval the angel philosopher and says the almanac is packed with unforgettable wisdom and penetrating insights. Tucker Max, a 4-time New York Times best-selling author, went even further, saying, "I've already read it twice and plan to reread it at least 2 times a year. I can think of no higher praise for a book." What makes it so special? It's the clarity. Naval has a unique ability to distill complex, lifelong questions about wealth and happiness into simple, actionable principles. And here's something truly remarkable that speaks volumes about the book's purpose. It was created as a public service. You can download the PDF and e-reader versions completely for free from the official website, navalmanac.com. Naval isn't earning a single penny from this book. He sees this wisdom as something that belongs to everyone, something that should be shared freely. That, to me, is one of the most powerful endorsements of all. It tells you that the value isn't in the price tag. It's purely in the ideas themselves. So the book is broadly divided into 2 main parts, just like the title suggests: wealth and happiness. And while they might seem like separate pursuits, Naval brilliantly shows how they are interconnected through mindset, principles, and a clear understanding of how the world works. Let's start with the part that initially draws many people in: wealth. In our culture, wealth is often associated with luck, inheritance, or sometimes ruthless behavior. Naval completely dismantles these myths. He presents a new framework, a new way of thinking about wealth creation that is based on principles, not chance. It's about playing long-term games with long-term people. It's about creating value, not just extracting it. This brings us to our very first quote which is essentially the entire foundation of his philosophy on wealth. The quote is, "Getting rich is about knowing what to do, who to do it with, and when to do it." Let's break that down, because every part of that sentence is packed with meaning. First, knowing what to do. This is the opposite of the work hard, grind 80 hours a week mantra that so many of us are taught. Naval argues that hard work is not enough. You can work incredibly hard digging ditches with a shovel, but you'll never be as effective as one person operating an excavator. The excavator is leverage. Knowing what to do is about finding your excavator. It's about seeking out and developing what he calls specific knowledge, a unique skill set that you're naturally curious about, that feels like play to you but looks like work to others. This isn't something you can be trained for in a classroom. It's a deep, intuitive understanding that you build through genuine curiosity and passion over years. It's about building a skill that society wants and is willing to pay for, but that cannot be easily outsourced or automated. So the first step isn't just to work hard, it's to think hard. Think about what unique value you can provide that no one else can. Second, knowing who to do it with. This is about people and partnerships. Naval emphasizes that business and life is a long-term, iterative game. You don't want to play with people who are just in it for a quick win. You want to surround yourself with high-integrity, intelligent, high-energy people. People you trust, people you admire, people who you can see yourself working with for decades. When you find these people, you can create things that are far greater than what any one of you could do alone. Compound interest is the most powerful force in finance, and Naval argues that compound interest in relationships is just as, if not more, powerful. So the question becomes, are the people you're spending your time with, both professionally and personally, raising you up? Are you playing long-term games together? And third, knowing when to do it. This is about timing and judgment. It's about understanding market trends, seeing where the world is going, and positioning yourself to catch a wave. The internet created a massive wave of opportunity. Cryptocurrency created another. Artificial intelligence is creating one right now. Knowing when doesn't mean you need a crystal ball. It means being so immersed in your field, so engaged with what's happening, that you can sense the shifts before they become obvious to everyone else. It's about being prepared to act when opportunity knocks. So you see, this single sentence completely reframes wealth creation from a game of chance to a game of skill. A skill based on specific knowledge, long-term relationships, and good judgment. It's a profound shift in perspective. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that's a great principle, but how do I actually develop that knowledge and judgment? Naval has an answer for that too, which leads us to our second incredible quote. He gives a sort of curriculum for the modern world. The quote is, "Study microeconomics, game theory, psychology, persuasion, ethics, mathematics, and computers." This isn't a list of subjects to get a degree in. This is a toolkit for understanding reality. Let's quickly touch on why each of these is so critical. Microeconomics. This is the study of supply and demand, incentives, and human choice at a small scale. If you don't understand microeconomics, you don't understand how value is created and exchanged in a free market. You won't understand why your specific knowledge is valuable or how to price it. Game theory. Life is a series of games. Some are single player, but most are multiplayer. Game theory helps you understand how to navigate these interactions. It teaches you about win-win scenarios versus win-lose scenarios, and why playing iterated games, long-term games, with the same people encourages cooperation and trust. Psychology. If you're in business, you're dealing with people. If you don't understand human psychology, biases, motivations, fears, desires, you're flying blind. You need to understand your customers, your employees, your partners, and most importantly, yourself. Persuasion. This isn't about manipulation. It's about effective communication. It's about being able to clearly and compellingly articulate your ideas, your vision, and the value you're offering. As Naval says, the most successful people are great salespeople. They sell their vision, they sell their products, they sell their ideas. Ethics. This might seem like an odd one on a list about getting rich, but it's perhaps the most important for long-term success. Ethics is the foundation of trust. In a world of long-term games, your reputation is your most valuable asset. A lack of ethics might give you a short-term gain, but it will inevitably destroy your reputation and your ability to play the long game. Integrity is paramount. Mathematics. You don't need to be a math genius, but you need to be comfortable with numbers. You need to understand concepts like compound interest, statistics, and probability to make sound financial decisions and to avoid being fooled by misleading data. It's the language of logic and science. And finally, computers. This is the language of leverage in the 21st century. Code is the ultimate form of leverage. You can write a piece of software or create a piece of media once, and it can work for you serving millions of people while you sleep. Understanding how computers and networks operate is fundamental to understanding how wealth is being created today. This list isn't a syllabus, it's a mental framework. By having a basic understanding of these fields, you equip yourself with a set of mental models that allow you to see the world more clearly and make better decisions. Which leads us perfectly into our third quote, the meta skill that underpins all of this. The quote is, "The most important skill for getting rich is becoming a perpetual learner." This is the engine that drives everything else. In the 20th century, you could learn a trade or a profession, and that knowledge would likely last you your entire career. That world is gone. The shelf life of skills is shrinking rapidly. What's valuable today might be obsolete in 5 or 10 years. The only way to stay relevant, the only way to continuously know what to do, is to commit to learning for your entire life. A perpetual learner isn't someone who just consumes information passively. It's someone who is actively, intensely curious. It's reading books, not just for entertainment, but to acquire new mental models. It's listening to podcasts from experts in different fields. It's taking online courses. It's experimenting and trying new things. It's looking at your failures not as defeats, but as tuition payments for a valuable lesson. The mindset shift is from "I am educated" to "I am always educating myself." It's understanding that the moment you think you know everything is the moment you start to become irrelevant. Naval suggests reading voraciously, especially the foundational texts in science, math, and philosophy. He says to read what you love until you love to read. Make it a habit, like brushing your teeth. Because in an age where information is abundant and free, the biggest competitive advantage is your ability and desire to learn. The person who can learn, unlearn, and relearn the fastest is the person who will win. This idea of perpetual learning connects directly to building that specific knowledge we talked about. And that brings us to our fourth and final quote from the wealth section, which is one of my absolute favorites for its sheer audacity and brilliance. The quote is, "Become the best in the world at what you do. Keep redefining what you do until this is true." When you first hear, become the best in the world at what you do, it sounds impossible, right? It sounds like an absurdly high bar. Best in the world? How could I ever compete with the billions of other people on the planet? But the magic is in the second half of the sentence. Keep redefining what you do until this is true. This is the secret. This is the practical application of building specific knowledge. You don't try to be the best generalist. You create a niche so specific that you are the only one in it. You become a category of one. Let me give you an example. Are you the best writer in the world? Probably not. That's too broad. But could you be the best writer in the world on the topic of using behavioral psychology to design user interfaces for financial technology apps for senior citizens? Absolutely. You've just defined a category where you are number one. You do this by stacking your skills. Maybe you're a decent programmer. You're also pretty good at graphic design, and you have a passion for sustainable farming. Alone, none of these skills make you the best in the world. But what if you combine them? You could become the best person in the world at creating software with a beautiful user interface that helps small-scale organic farmers manage their crop rotations. You've just created a unique intersection of your skills and interests. This is what Naval means. You're not competing, you're creating. You're finding that unique combination of your knowledge, your skills, and your passions. And you're carving out a space where you are the absolute best. And because this combination is unique to you, born from your genuine curiosity, no one can compete with you. You're authentic. As Naval says, no one can compete with you on being you. This is how you escape competition and build true defensible wealth. It's not about being better, it's about being different. So, as you can see, these 4 quotes alone provide a revolutionary blueprint for wealth creation. It's not about get-rich-quick schemes. It's a deep, philosophical, and practical guide to building sustainable wealth by becoming a more valuable, knowledgeable, and principled person. Now, as you might expect from a book with this much depth, readers have had a lot to say. The feedback from customers on platforms like Amazon is overwhelmingly positive. People consistently praise the book for its fantastic insights, describing the advice as timeless wisdom. Many appreciate how easy it is to read. Because it's a collection of thoughts and tweets, you can pick it up, read a single page, and walk away with a profound idea to think about for the rest of the day. The format is concise, and the concepts are well explained. Some readers also really value the advice on time management, highlighting Naval's core belief that time is our most precious and non-renewable asset. Of course, with a unique format, there are some mixed opinions on the design and structure, but the vast majority of readers find the content to be absolutely world-class. But wealth is only one half of the book's title. What's the point of being happy if you're not happy? This is where the book transitions from the practical to the philosophical, and in my opinion, this is where it becomes truly life-changing. Naval argues that just like wealth, happiness is a skill. It's a choice. It's something you can practice and get better at. This is a radical departure from the common belief that happiness is a result of external circumstances. If I get that promotion, if I buy that car, if I find the perfect partner, then I'll be happy. Naval flips this on its head. He suggests that happiness is our natural default state. It's the state we're in when we're children, full of wonder and presence. But as we grow up, we cover it up with a layer of desires, anxieties, and judgments. Happiness, therefore, is not about adding something positive to your life. It's about removing the negative. It's the process of unlearning the things that make you unhappy. His core idea is that desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Think about that for a moment. When you desire something, you are literally creating a state of lack and unhappiness in your present moment. You're telling yourself, I am not complete until X happens. The problem is, once you get X, a new desire immediately pops up to take its place. It's a never-ending cycle, a hedonic treadmill. So how do you get off this treadmill? Naval's approach is rooted in ancient wisdom, particularly from Buddhist philosophy, but presented in a modern, accessible way. It's about cultivating presence. It's about realizing that the only moment that truly exists is right now. The past is just a memory, and the future is just a projection. All of our anxiety comes from regretting the past or worrying about the future. Peace, and therefore happiness, is found only in the present moment. He advocates for practices like meditation, not as some mystical ritual, but as a practical exercise. Meditation is simply the art of observing your own thoughts without judgment. It's about creating a space between you and your thoughts so you realize you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. This simple realization is incredibly liberating. It means you don't have to be a slave to every anxious or negative thought that pops into your head. He also talks about the importance of managing your desires. This doesn't mean you shouldn't have goals or ambitions. It means choosing your desires very, very carefully. Instead of having 1,000 desires that pull you in 1,000 different directions, pick 1 or 2 big, overarching desires that are truly meaningful to you and let go of the rest. Desire less. Ultimately, Naval's philosophy on happiness is one of self-reliance and inner peace. It's about understanding that no person, no object, and no accomplishment can make you happy. Happiness is an internal job. It's a skill you build by managing your mind, being present, and accepting reality as it is. It's about finding joy in the ordinary, peace in the present, and building a calm internal state that is unshakable by the chaos of the external world. When you combine these two parts of the book, the framework for building wealth through leverage and specific knowledge, and the framework for cultivating happiness through presence and managing desire, you get something truly holistic. You get a guide to designing a life where you are not just successful in the eyes of the world, but peaceful and content within yourself. Before we wrap up, I think it's important to briefly acknowledge the man who made this all possible, Eric Jorgensen. He's not just a compiler, he's a very sharp thinker in his own right. He's an author, an investor, and the CEO of Scribe Media. His own blog has reached over 1 million readers. His expertise in product strategy and writing is what allowed him to take this vast ocean of Naval's wisdom and structure it so brilliantly. He found the patterns, connected the dots, and presented it in a way that is both profound and incredibly easy to digest.
The book is a testament to his skill as much as it is to Naval's wisdom. So, in conclusion, the Almanack of Naval Ravikant is not a book you read once and put back on the shelf. It's a companion. It's a manual for modern life that you will find yourself returning to again and again. Each time you read it, at different stages of your life, new insights will jump out at you. It gives you the mental models to think more clearly about two of the most important pursuits in life, creating wealth and being happy. It teaches you that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thinking, and it provides you with the tools to upgrade your thinking. It's a call to become a perpetual learner, to build specific knowledge, to play long-term games, and to find peace in the present moment. It's a powerful, generous, and deeply insightful gift to the world. If any of this resonated with you, I can't recommend picking up this book or downloading it for free highly enough. It truly has the potential to change the way you see the world. Thank you so much for joining me on BookTube English today. If you found this discussion valuable, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who you think might benefit from these ideas. And of course, Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into another world-changing book. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What was one idea from our discussion today that really stood out to you? Have you read the Almanack of Naval Ravikant? If so, what was your biggest takeaway? Or is there another book that has completely changed your perspective on wealth or happiness? Let's start a conversation. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.